videos coming kind of fast and furious right now. This is the 100 book challenge, episode 14. Book number 14 is in the books. This one is the Call of Cthulhu by, what was his name? I don't know. H.P. Lovecraft. And this is the illustrated edition with amazing paintings by Francois Baranger, published by Free League. Wow, like where do we begin, right? So this is it. The book is gigantic. You can see the size of it. Very skinny, of course, because The Call of Cthulhu is really a short story. Is it a novelette? It's not long enough, I don't think, to really be called a novella. I don't know. Maybe I should have looked that up. It doesn't really matter. It's a longer-ish short story that was originally, I think he wrote it in 1926. Am I remembering that right? And then it was published in the February 1928 edition of Weird Tales, which is where most of Lovecraft's work was published. I don't know that anyone can say that it was immediately some kind of hit. I think it was read and appreciated more by some of his fellow authors. And we know, Lovecraft's letters are just all over the place. He wrote voluminous letters back and forth with authors like Robert E. Howard in particular. Sometimes kind of talking about the business of being a pulp fiction writer in the 1920s and beyond, not too far beyond. But in any case, it ended up starting what is now become known as cosmic horror. I'm just taking the dust jacket off so that doesn't get into any kind of boo-boo situation because we keep our books nice. Inside, it's this paper overboard, which looks really nice. Paper overboard means printed paper that's essentially glued to the boards or the hard cardboard material that the cover is made out of. It has got this really nice foil stamped cover. You can see that looks very silver over this amazingly muted greenish gray palette that Baranger has really carried throughout the entire thing. This angle, just kind of plain black end papers, but this angle is hard to show you any part of this book. So I'm going to go ahead when we get to that point and just sort of lay it out where you'll be able to see it, and I can control the glare a little bit, right? Let's just, let's just do that. Let's just switch to where we can really look at this beautiful, beautiful book, a story that I have read multiple times. We'll talk. I'll be right back. Okay, let's take a nice close look at The Call of Cthulhu by H.P. Lovecraft, illustrated by Francois Baranger. Oh, right, big, giant book with introductions. Right, and this looks like little teeny weeny text. It's actually very readable because, again, look at the size of this book. It is a large format book. It is Tales of Howard Phillips Lovecraft, illustrated by Francois Baranger. I have 3 more books, the 2-part At the Mountains of Madness. And what is the other one? Is it the Dunwich Horror? I should have brought those up with me. Anyway, there is also a 4th. I don't remember which one that is, but it has not yet been translated into English, which is weird because obviously H.P. Lovecraft is an American author, was an American author and wrote in English. But these books were published in France. And anyway, that 5th book does not have an English edition, which is too bad. As soon as it does, I'm going to buy it. So if you're listening there from, is it Free League? Let's get that going, right? So the Call of Cthulhu, written in 3 parts. When did I first read this short story? I don't know. I started reading Lovecraft in early days of high school. How old was I? 13? Was I 13? Let's say I was 13, so I've been reading Lovecraft for all of the intervening 47 years. It's extremely rare that I read a book more than once. There's just too many books out there. I'm always looking for the new book. Not necessarily the new book, but the new book, the book that's new to me. I have read this story. This is at least the 3rd time through it. At least. And reading it again, it was just as fresh. It was just as weird. It was just as out there, right? I don't know. Are you watching this video? Are you watching any kind of a channel like this and you haven't read any Lovecraft at all? I don't know, right? This would be a good place to start. It's usually what people say, like, well, I mean, Call of Cthulhu, right? It's kind of his most famous story. And it's good. It's really, really good. It's a little bit, weirdly enough, it's kind of a little bit more grounded than a lot of his later stuff, where it's a story about people who are finding evidence of a cult, right, or a series of cults that are worshiping some sort of strange, unknown beings, right? This isn't sort of the big 3 religions or anything like that. And they seem to be really widely spread all over the world, like in Africa and in Greenland and in Louisiana. Like, how are these people all kind of finding this in, the early to mid 1920s, when, it's not like now, right? Somebody puts up a website, and let's go back to this one for a second, and this thing virally goes out to the world. But they are finding these strange things, right? Reports, tales of these strange things that happen out at sea, and this little weird statue of this guy with like a cuttlefish or a octopus head, and then this kind of maybe semi-human-like body, but with wings, like bat-like wings, like it's a dragon of some kind. So the whole story is kind of told in flashbacks or stories that they're being told or relating to each other. In one case, there's a newspaper article, which here they have laid out as if it were a newspaper with these really fun kind of little period advertisements in the end, which is really great. This kind of edition allows them to do that, which is just really fun. And it culminates with the story of these sailors who go someplace weird, right, that's not on any map, and they encounter something even weirder. But I hope you're sort of noticing in the artwork here, there's a lot of kind of interesting things to the imagery. There's a lot of things like this where we're seeing everything really down at the bottom, and then it sort of goes up into this cavernous dark space. And it's maybe hard to see here, but there's a sense of like tentacles coming through, but not really. Are they just weird shadows and stuff? But he's doing this like great job of just kind of foreshadowing things. And again, why in a book like this would all of the composition be at the bottom, as though this were some kind of a book cover, right? I'm used to seeing art like this, because here at the top in this space here would be the author's name and the title and whatever else. But in this case, it really is because it seems to be that he's giving you the kind of the vault of the heavens up there, and something strange is maybe gathering there. Yeah? So he's really using the whole page in very interesting ways. And then coming into the end here, I'm not spoiling the story. If the images do, I don't know. How is it possible that it's 2025? You're watching a video like this and you haven't read the story already? If not, then just go read the story. And if these images are kind of spoilers, I don't know. If you have read this story, if you're an H.P. Lovecraft fan, you probably have this book already. No, would you not have this book? As soon as I saw this, I don't remember where it first came to my attention. I'm like, well, I'm just ordering all those. I'm just doing it. I'm just going to do it. I make money. I work for a living, right? But the whole book is in, right, every single page, and this is the idea of books like this, is that it's a short story. So the text can fill, depending on, how much he wants to play with the canvas that these big format pages allow him. Put just a little bit of text there, and then really let you experience that art. Yeah. And through the whole thing, the palette is very much this green, right? There's a kind of green-gray cast to everything. Everything really feels like it's at night. We saw that image before that was clearly daytime, but almost through the entire thing, it's this green. Like there is a palette that he has chosen for this. It's wow, right? Getting the scale of it with the boat there. And again, toward the end, more art, less text. So the text is kind of front-loaded until it comes to this kind of very climactic ending. And, a terrific job with this character's face, which is that H.P. Lovecraft signature of, if you survive, right, you're not okay. You may have lived through the story. If you're the, like, quote unquote, we're using the hero of an H.P. Lovecraft story. That's what the hero of an H.P. Lovecraft story looks like in the end. I think Baranger nailed that, if nothing else. Honestly. So there it is. Yes, and here are the two gentlemen involved, separated by the better part of 100 years. But look at this is the legacy of H.P. Lovecraft. A troubled guy, right? Not necessarily the guy that you'd be like, yeah, we're best buddies, or that you would vote for if he was running for Congress. But a guy who lived 100 years ago and was writing 100 years ago in a very different, America. And, an imagination that was filtered through this intense, really kind of clinical xenophobia. And what came out of that is the greatest horror fiction ever written. And here's Francois Baranger, right? Great concept artist, has worked in video games, movies, etc. Just a fantastic job. This is what happens when two great creative minds come together and create something this eerily gorgeous. Absolutely fantastic. Gotta go get one. Okay, right. So that was book number 14 in the 100 book challenge. That was my illustrated book, which is in the category of illustrated books, comic book collections, or graphic novels. I have this sort of reading list thing that I do where I'm reading 7-ish books, 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 books, and in various categories, and one of them is that. The illustrated books. The next one I'm reluctant to move my hand from the next in the Druna series by Serpieri. I've read the first 3. You've seen those videos. This is number 4. This is, again, comics for grown-ups. We'll get that read soon. That has been book number 14 in the 14 book challenge. That would have been done. That would have been an easy one. I'm just going to read 14 books. We'll get this over with Book number 14 in the 100 book challenge. I'm 14% of the way there because I know how to do math. Thank you for watching. You should be subscribed and commenting and sharing and liking and doing all of that YouTube stuff because what? It's all free. Do all that stuff. I'll see you at least in episode 15 because at this point I'm in on this. I'm going to continue the 100 book challenge on into as long as it takes. Okay. Thank you again.